So, Lewis, one of the qualities that I admire about you, and I think, I hear you attribute to the overall success of the Louie Lee show, is the team that you have around you. It really is a bandit community, but it's more so a bandit family. So, as somebody, who aspires to be a leader, I see that leadership quality in you. But
thank you.
From your eyes, man, what is a leader?
I'm still figuring it out. I really don't have all the answers. I just know putting together individuals that can succeed, like you say, in accomplishing their dreams, as well as it overall helping you create a dream too, it's super inspiring to be around, and it makes you just want to go to work every day. So if a good leader is someone who puts others before themselves, but also being able to realize that it's okay to be a little selfish about what you're trying to accomplish too. You can let everybody shine and work together, and we can just win at this thing called life with the little borrowed time we got.
Right.
I don't really want to waste any time not working with people, that's for sure. I feel like collaboration is so important. It inspires us to be better and always push ourselves more, and that's my goal. Especially with everybody that I have working on videos with me, writing music with me, creating different projects with me. Like, I want to be inspired because they're inspired too.
One of my memorable experiences that I had as part of this 29 song, 14 music video journey that we all went on is the song "Take This Echo With You."
Yeah.
We shot it in a beautiful, beautiful home in Grosse Pointe, and what was crazy about it...
shout out to Nico.
Yes, shout out to Nico. And what was so crazy about this shoot was I took a picture of you, and you were up against the wall, and there was like a beam of light that was like hitting you, and it like formed this like angel wing behind Lewis, and it was like one of those photos where I looked at in post production like, whoa, like that looked like an angel.
Right.
Well, the song, is very deep, and it's a song, about grief and mourning and those you lost. So like that picture was kind of not symbolic, but it was like a spiritual message that we felt together. And then something transpired that made the whole situation really a spiritual experience. Can you share that story, if you don't mind, Louis?
The story on like the picture, or just like the video,
the picture, video, and what transpired.
That song, yeah. Like, I mean, "Take This Echo With You" is a really special song in the camp. My manager Amon and I, who's also writes songs with us in the show, and we were just going through a lot of loss and grief, and he'd actually just lost his dog. It was tough, but we were talking about a song that, like, when you're driving in your car and you're singing a song and you're like hearing yourself sing the words, but you're also hearing that echo of the person you might be missing, like, so now, like, when you're singing in the shower, you're kind of like hearing their voice too, everywhere you're just hearing this echo of them, and it's really hard to, move on when that's kind of like always, there too. It's hard. Grief is just something you have to work through, right? There's all these stages. And "Take This Echo With You" was just like a therapeutical song for us that just felt real, not too crazy on the production, just very straight through forward production. The chords came up with just felt right, and the melody I was hearing when that hook dropped. Wish I was hearing you dancing around when you felt in the mood, or the way that you used to dance so hard. I get worked up thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Because when we wrote it from a place, we allowed ourselves to be emotional. If that makes sense, I don't know. Everybody's experienced loss, and we all experience it different. "Take This Echo With You" was just a song that we needed for ourselves at the time, and we knew when we put it out there, other people were going to relate, and they've been going through their own thing too. So the video was nice when we shot it because it needed to just be somber and, like, kind of lonely, because you're missing something that's not there with you anymore. And when we shot that video, that was our intention, Mike and I. Was like, we're going to do lots of shots where it just feel that longing, that lonesome, let it just breathe with just moving in a big empty house, listening to all these rooms. You know, it echoes like a ghost town. Only the shadow of your sound looms.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was a great video. Love that song. I hope people in the world keep finding it because I think people need it always.
Another, crazy story that I know about you being your friend is that when you were a child, you had a hearing issue. How did the kid with the hearing issue develop a dream for music? Well, talk to me about the beginnings there.
Man, it's crazy, like, when people ask me about this, too, because I was 6 years old when I had tubes put in my ears.
Both ears?
Both ears, which I feel like, is a common thing that happens, to children out there in the world, like, whether, they were just my ear canals were closed off, and they need to, like, open it up more for me to hear.
Okay.
But I don't remember so much now, but, my mom tells me, my dad tells me, and, when I was a kid, like, I'd be frustrated at times. So I was a frustrated, like, young little kid sometimes.
For sure,
because I felt like maybe I wasn't hearing, and I didn't really know. So it's pretty interesting about that, like when I hear stories about how I would behave up until I was 6 years old, and, that things change when you can start hearing in the world, and I didn't get to experience it, as like a young person so much because I had the procedure done.
Right.
But it was funny when I was a little kid. I was like, up until I think when they fell out, like when I was like in junior high or something, like where my ears really grew enough where they were just gone. I didn't notice they were there anymore.
So
they like fell out. It's fucking wild.
Louie, I'm gonna have to cut you off right here.
Yeah.
You talked about this is a common thing and respect it.
I don't know.
There, but I've never heard of the situation happening.
Right.
So just walk me through. So you had, how long were these like things that you're putting?
They're in there, okay? And so like I'm in the pool as a little kid and I'm that kid with the full on wax ear. Like straight up.
Okay.
Full wax, like no water's getting in there.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of your childhood memories, do you remember like
Yes.
not being able to hear at all?
No, it wasn't so much that I couldn't hear at all. Well, at least I don't remember up until like I was 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I went to a hearing test and stuff like that, when you're a kid, and they're like, yeah, like he's not hearing any of this.
Wow.
Right. So I'm like, that's interesting, hearing about it more from my mother's perspective, and now I see my nieces and nephew who are like 4 and 5, and I think how they behave, and they're amazing. But I can imagine also like a little kid, though, being more frustrated because he doesn't realize he can't hear.
Right.
Imagine being a little kid and you can't tell if your little kid can't see or not, and they're having headaches and stuff, and they're frustrated, right? Isn't that interesting? I thought it was wild, too.
And you know what else too?
But I got the tubes in my ears, I'm out here, life is changing now. So it wasn't really until, later an appreciation for music when I got in junior high, and stuff like that, like
at that point,
imagine like 7 years later, 6 years later, probably 12, 13.
So you really had to go through like a 6 to 7 year journey with over, I don't want to say overcoming, but to on the journey of having your hearing at 100%.
Yeah, it was a new experience. Once I got the tubes in my ears, it was a whole new process for me. Like I could hear differently for the rest of my life then.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And my ears then were fine.
So as you were, one, I guess this is
It's so wild.
Dude, so two-part question.
Right.
I'm so curious. One, are there any other senses of yours that's like super strong because you were, sacrificing this development earlier?
No, I didn't. No, I don't want to make anybody think it's like that serious.
Supervision.
Yeah. No, actually, my vision's terrible too.
Okay.
Like that's why I'm wearing sunglasses, y'all. Like I'm just like there's a light in my face right now, and.
But the second question I have to ask you is during that process of going through that process.
Right.
Is that when your curiosity / passion for music started, or not a little bit later?
Yeah, just later on in life, I had a older cousin, my grandfather, who's a big influence to me. He always had instruments. I had cousins that played instruments and music and in bands when I was growing up. So I remember watching one of my older cousins, like he had a rock band, and where we had lived at the time, we were in this like apartment that was on like it was on like Flores. So like there was property and there was like greenhouses. It was a really cool experience growing up. It was awesome. I loved it. And my older cousin had a rock band that would practice in one of the greenhouses, and it was just the coolest thing ever. And I'm just kidding. I'm just like watching this rock band play, and my sister, very cool. She was into like alternative music at the time, and so you're growing up in the '90s, man. And I just like got real fascinated by just how music made me feel, how it felt like when I was in a room and people were playing music. I just liked that energy. So it stuck with me forever then.
Yeah.
You know, and I played in school band and stuff too. And then by in high school, I was already like, you know, all right, I'm going to start writing songs. And now I'm like playing guitar with my friends, you know, all through high school and just doing that, you know, rock band stuff. It was fun. You know, I never thought that it would be like a whole lifetime thing in the sense that like I would get to Louie Lee. You know what I mean? But
was there always a vision in your mind though?
to be honest, I never saw the vision. I didn't experience this vision of Louie Lee until I hit a point where I needed to just create some music as just therapy and an outlet. And I finally let go of trying to be an artist or any of it.
Yeah.
And when I let go, that's when Louie Lee just happened.
And that's when you went around the time you and I met, right? Because
Yeah.
Tailgate
Oh, yeah.
and all
All
that,
of it, yeah.
And Runaway.
Yep, all of it. First Louie Lee EP.
Yeah.
It was 5 songs.
You call your family, right, your community, people who rock with the Louie Lee, you call them bandits.
Yep. Yeah, we then.
Explain to me what a bandit is, and also tell me who is the bandit amongst the bandits.
Oof. All right, well, real quick, bandits are individuals now, in my mind today, that go against the grain in the sense that they want to do good. They want to bring joy to people. They want to, you know, bring the light in the darkness. You know, it's kind of easier to just give in and be cynical in life. It's easy to just let it go and feel, well, it is what it is. You know, but my bandit energy is like, nah, I'm not slowing down. I'm not going to stop. I'm not getting burnt out. I'm not allowing it. You know what I mean? I'm here for borrowed time. I'm here to make people feel good in this planet, you know, and anywhere else. You know, I want to inspire people to be themselves, be creative, be adventurous, be lazy, be all of it. You know what I mean? Just
Bandit.
be a bandit.
Be a bandit.
You know, quit thinking so much that you have to conform to somebody else's version of success. I talk about this. Like, your version of success isn't my version of success. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
And you can't change my mind.
Yep.
Bandit.
Bandit.
You know what I mean? And you should feel the same way. You know, this is yours. This is your time. And we're lucky to live in one of the greatest countries in the world. Period. You know, you have an opportunity here to go after a dream. It's not easy. And there's no easy part in it. But we're very lucky. You know, there's so much that needs to be improved. People watching, they're going to hate right away. I know it's not perfect. I'm not even going to say it's close. Like, it's nowhere near. You know, and probably don't even see that finish line. But we have to keep working for it. What are you going to do?
Yep.
I'm going to keep working for Ayana. I'm going to keep working for Claire, Jace, Alex, Aurora, Balin, Sutton, Joseph, Eve. I could keep going. There's a lot of them. Yeah, we them.
And the second question was, who is the bandit amongst the bandit? Because crazy enough, right, and this is energy you put out is what you get. Like, part of the bandit family is the OG bandit. Shout out to Darren McCarty. He's a bandit.
OG bandit.
Hey, he is a bandit.
They inspire people, you know what I mean? Like, he inspires me. He inspires those around him. You know, he's been through shit. He can talk about real life stuff. And he still will make you laugh. He'll make you smile. He'll inspire you to be better.
He's a good listener.
Good listener.
Yep.
Good talker. All the above.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I strive to be that. Bandit.
Bandit.
You know, I want people around me to be that way.
So
I'm proud of you.
other than Darren, who is the bandit amongst the
See, I know where Leo's going, y'all. Like, let's just talk. All right. We're going to move this conversation. Yo, Leo, what's it like being in the Louie Lee show, starring Louie Lee?
But what is it like to be a bandit?
What's it like to be like in the Louie Lee show, starring Louie Lee? You're in the show, my friend. Like, I love you, and I love what we built. You and I, our team of entertainers in the show. You're an entertainer, my friend. Tommy, Justin, Jorg, Dave Menzo, David James, Scott Kendall, Jordan Otto, Aaron Markovitz. I mean, I can keep going. Michael Martin, Mike Young, Percy, Chris Hines, Haley, my family and friends. The list keeps going.
There's a lot of bandits.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The bandit of the bandits, probably my mom. She's straight up.
Okay.
My mom's probably the bandit of all bandits. Yo, Rose is a bandit. This woman strives to be one of the best people in the world at all times, to be there for others, to help others, even sometimes when she's going to sacrifice her own mental health. That's a bandit in my book. You know what I'm saying? Do for others, man. It feels good.
The Oracle.
She's the Oracle. My mother is the Oracle. Louie Lee's. That's the headline. This is the TikTok. Louie Lee's mom is the Oracle.
In the bandit world.
Now, see, the bandit of the bandit in, like, the show. We can get into that. Yo, shout out Dave Menzo.
Candidate for show, Tokyo Menzo. Shout out.
Tokyo Menzo. Dave Menzo is such a beam of light who cuts through darkness. Period. Jorg Detroit, Jorg Carasiotas, a.k.a. Jorgacorn, is a beam of light that cuts.
101.
One of one. All these guys, everybody in this camp, one of one. People are like, man, we got to meet this show. Don't worry, we're going to have to just interview every one of them now.
It's like if we're all Pokemon, it's like the rare Pokemon.
It's funny. It's not funny. It's probably ridiculous, but how I say I'm a human Pokemon collector. Because I see that, what you just said. Like, you have all these great, amazing talents, all these amazing things you offer to those around you, and I'm just, like, inspired by that. It's like, come over and hang out with us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We're building a ship over here. You want to help, Yeah. I love that energy, and we keep finding people that want to be a part of this, and this is always an invite to all those out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want everybody to feel like there's a home for them here. We got our own, bandit nation growing. Let's be different in the sense that we're going to keep inspiring when others can't. It's not everyone's job to do it. And we're going to have bad days. And that's what's so real about it. It don't have to be perfect. Mm-hmm. But it is nice to have something you aspire to be in your life. It will make you better and stronger for those around you. If you lead with more open-mindedness and open heart to those less fortunate to you than you, it's going to change your views on your own life, and it's going to bring more gratitude, things that you and I talk about. You're a man of gratitude. Everybody knows that Leo's going to ask, what's 3 gratitudes? And we constantly need you to ask. Don't ever stop.
Yep.
Bandit.
Sure, bandit.